Thank you very much for sticking around up until this point of business today. Tonight we're going to have a conversation about something that is getting many of us worried. A list is going around social media, the traditional medias, containing courses and programs that are rendered expired. So this is where we bring you an expert to tell us, highlight to us, what exactly is going on. So, welcome to the studio.
Thank you so much, and I'm glad you talking to me about the same issue that has been bothering me since morning.
Yeah. So we are seeing this list going around.
Yeah.
In your opinion, how true or false is this?
I've seen the list that has been going on, and practically for me, this list does not add up. It is true that there are some universities which haven't really come to a point that they have actually renewed their programs. When you submit a program to National Council for Higher Education, every 5 years, that course must be renewed. And if you don't renew it, it makes the course redundant. Now, so the onus is on every institution to make sure the review is done. But now the reality is that someone went and picked a list from National Council for Higher Education, originating from a situation that someone went and applied for a university abroad. I've seen the communication from the university. It says that the course you are referring to as the one you did, you actually did a course that had expired. Expired would mean that had not been reviewed by the university at the time you did the course, which makes the course look like the content is outdated. When someone says the course has expired, that the content of study, it may not even be necessarily outdated, but you need to show National Council for Higher Education regulators that you have taken time to go back to the content you gave us 5 years ago, and you have tried to go through it to make sure that it matches with the growing and ever-changing world of work. Let me give you an example. When you started journalism years back, or when I started journalism years back, we weren't so much focused on new media, using WhatsApp, using Twitter, using Facebook and the rest. They weren't the gist of the whole things. Now they're telling you about Shark and the rest, and several other apps, some of them which we're not even using in Uganda. Now, then they weren't there. Journalism was all about the things we knew. Now, if you're teaching a journalism student today, you're going to begin talking about content creators. Nowadays, they're even not focusing on journalists. They run to guys who are doing IT to build apps for them. Very soon, you're going to find that IT and journalism are somehow merged courses in some universities, because they're looking at how you can merge technology with the evolving world of communication. I'm not saying IT will completely be wiped out, but you find several modules being taught to IT students are being taught in journalism course. Some of the things never used to happen years ago. So anyone, if he's doing review of his program, you'll find they will begin merging these things. That's more reason that for universities that are focused, they always do what we call course reviews. They get to review their curriculum. They review the curriculum, and then you know that I've revised my work. It is matching with the growing trend. Now, when you look at the list that is circulating, that list we have talked, I personally talked to National Council for Education. They have refused to own it. They say that's not officially our list that we released. Because the truth is that some of the universities have already renewed their programs, but probably now someone landed on a list that was outdated and saturated it. To make matters worse, it has ended up even in several media, even including the traditional media, they ran the same list. Now, it is not that the list is completely wrong with some institutions. You find some institutions have not actually updated their programs. But I'll give you an example. University like Victoria University, which decided to completely change the way teaching is supposed to be done. Assessments must be done because our assessments are totally different here. You can do an exam from wherever you are, which is not anywhere heard of in any given university. You can do an exam from any part. You can even do it from your home, from your kitchen, from your farm. All we care about, we do not ask for things of recording. We look for knowledge application. For instance, if I tell you, go have a story for me about floods in Kampala or potholes in Kampala, 1,000 students will write a totally different story. Am I right? From a journalistic point of view? So how do you tell me you copied that? And if you chose to ask someone, consult someone on writing and the rest, yes, fantastic. Because as a journalist, I know if a story I'm trying to get a very good intro, come and help me here. Let's say this intro here. How do you think I can fine-tune it? If you perfect that, and as a journalist, a journalism student, you can learn that, you can inquire from your friends, you can build a good case, and produce from here a fine piece that is a super piece. That is all I'm looking for. For us, actually looking for a job after graduation is a problem. Will you do that? We realize you have not learned. By the time you graduate, actually, you need to have a registered business in your name. We don't care if you want to look for a job, but you must have your own business. This thing of you graduating students, thousands of them, then they begin running around town looking for jobs, is wrong. Now tell me, if we managed to do that and were intention about changing all our programs 3 years ago, how dare we have 15 programs which are not renewed? Who does that on this planet?
So who should be more present at their job? Because this
Now,
is really causing
in this
so
case,
much
in this case, we asked National Council for Education. They said, for God's sake, that is not our list. We didn't issue such a list. And they said, do you have anywhere you can prove that we have this list? I want anyone who is watching us this evening to actually tell me if they have this list anywhere attributable to a website that of National Council for Education, and you say, I've seen it, and you share that link with me, and you say, I've seen your programs, Victoria University, 16 of them, on the website of National Council for Education, and they are not renewed. I would want to see that. So for the list that is circulating around, let me ask you something that will actually show that this document is not legit. Which university of its caliber abroad there can actually open to criticize all other universities of another country and it puts its logo?
That is why so many people are wondering.
It's weird.
People are actually saying,
and
why
these
is
are
the
modern
University of
universities
Cambridge dictating for us what's...
Exactly. How does even Cambridge give to care about so many universities in Uganda and even produces a list, adds a logo? It says all these courses are not approved, and even adds National Council. They say they don't know that list. Now, that's when you realize that the list, whoever tried to concoct this, wanted to pick the authenticity of the Cambridge University. Cambridge University, you run a Google search, and it's the kind of name they've created over time. They don't have time for that kind of craziness of fighting wars with another country. All they will do, it will be a communication between you, the applicant, and probably the National Council for Education, or your mother institution where you're coming from. There is no way they can open a battle where they get to choose every other institution they know in a neighboring country that their programs are not accredited. And National Council says, I don't know those lists. I disown them, they're not part of what I know.
Okay.
I don't think anyone has done an interview that says that list actually you saw is our list and we confirm. That's why we issued a statement saying, we have all our lists and I'm going to give you a copy of all our programs. Anyone else wants to see them can see you. And I'm actually going to post them on our social media accounts. And anyone who wants them, just drop me a WhatsApp or just go to our social media accounts. Or even go to our website, you'll find the entire list and all the documents from National Council for Education that count for every program you see in this university, and a document from National Council for Education showing even when they actually received the reviews and when they got back to us. If I studied journalism at that time and the content they used to teach me was not updated, that's where the problem comes from. So if you studied any program in any institution and the institution chose not to renew that program, some of them do that for a number of reasons. At times, it is not marketable enough. There are few students attending the program. At times, it's very costly to teach such a program because you might find there are only 3-4 students interested in such a program, and there are not so many students, and they need space to teach other programs where the population is high. That's the reason they could have abandoned such a program. That does not mean that the content they gave you was fake, because National Council, through regulators and the people, the assessors of all the programs that go to them, had already cleared it to be taught. So that means the content you studied stays with you, and that is natural. And some of us, let me ask you, how long have you been in journalism?
Making a year.
Making a year. I've been in journalism for over 15 years. Now, I will tell you the reality, the things I studied, I have created a building block that even right now I do not care what Dr. Tayeba taught me, because I have built over what he taught me way back in a university, that right now even I'm into lecturing and I use the same knowledge and develop knowledge through the real work placement, that I do not so much focus. What were you taught then? I don't even care about that because I've moved on. What we should be worried about is that if you're going to do any program tomorrow in any given institution, is your program accredited? Has it been reviewed? Obviously, there's a point to worry for those who attended programs that were not reviewed then. That's a matter they need to fix with National Council and their institutions. But I would worry so much if someone is teaching anyone a program that is not accredited or that has not been renewed, why they are calling it expired. And for me, I will tell you, for Victoria, the 15 programs, that's fake. If anyone has any query, come. I'll show you the entire list and approve of National Council for Education. But we need to allay these fears and remove this kind of discussion where people say, how many expired programs do you have in your home, for God's sake? They're making this look go out of proportion.
People are scared.
And I pity students who did their degrees and they were not renewed. At times they could have studied the right content, they were not renewed, and that's okay if they didn't choose to renew your program. That doesn't make your program expired. Knowledge does not expire. Why we ask for reviews is that we need to add new knowledge to the old knowledge in such a program to make the program better. Okay, and all institutions must do that. Exactly. The truth is that if you are a student and you're looking for a program you're going to do, you need to ask yourself a number of questions. And I'm going to ask you to ask yourself 4 questions. 1, is my course affordable enough for me that when I start, I'm not going to fall off? That's very important because we have a higher tuition rate in all universities, and I've done studies and I know what I'm talking about. Secondly, is my course being taught at a time that is flexible for me to do work as I study? The course I'm going to do, is it meeting the real demands and the problems of the community that I'm coming from or the way I intend to go? Now, when you don't do that, that's where the problem comes from. We've done a revolution in this country on changing the quality of education. For anyone who cares about really changing their lives, you need to choose an institution that is intentional on making sure they don't just take away your money, teach you, and dump you at the end after graduation, to a university, to an institution that offers you quality education and ensures that before you graduate, one of the conditions you should have, you should be employed.
Expired or not, you have a lot of skills that you can actually apply in the real world that can make you sustainable and very lively. Back to business today.